We've all been there. A promise gets broken, a relationship feels like it's shattered, and you're just left wondering, can this even be fixed? So today we're going to dive into a pretty ancient story from the book of Exodus that gets right into that. It's a real high-stakes drama about what it takes to get a second chance after a complete and total failure. Seriously, think about that in our own lives, with our friends, our family. What does it actually take to mend something that's been so badly broken? Well, that's the big question right at the heart of this story. And believe me, the answer it gives is just as powerful today as it was thousands of years ago. Okay, so let's set the stage. To really get why this second chance is such a big deal, we have to understand just how spectacularly the first chance went wrong. The situation is, well, it's dire. The stakes could not be higher. So our story picks up in the middle of the rubble. Just picture it. Moses comes down from Mount Sinai, holding these stone tablets with the sacred promise, the covenant between God and the people. But when he gets to the bottom, instead of a grateful nation, he finds a wild party, with everyone worshiping a golden calf. And in a moment of pure, righteous anger, he smashes the tablets. The deal is off. The relationship is in absolute ruins. But then, a glimmer of hope. An opportunity to try again. And the instructions for this do-over are incredibly specific. This time, Moses has to carve the blank tablets himself, which is a really powerful symbol, right? It's about human participation in this new start. And he has to go up the mountain completely alone. The whole area is off limits. This is not a public show. It's a very serious, very private meeting to see if this relationship can actually be saved. And what happens next? Man, this is the absolute core of the entire story. Because before any new rules are given, before any new promises are made, something much more fundamental has to happen. God steps forward to define his own character. This is it. This is the starting point for any kind of reconciliation. The very first thing that's said is a proclamation of mercy, grace, patience, and forgiveness. Think about that. This second chance doesn't begin with a list of what the people did wrong. It begins with a declaration of compassion. And then, right after that amazing declaration of mercy, you get this crucial balance. On one side, you have total forgiveness, but on the other, you have a commitment to justice. He'll forgive, yes, but he won't just pretend the wrongdoing never happened. And this isn't a contradiction. It's just profound. It shows that real reconciliation can't be built on cheap grace. It has to hold both mercy and accountability together. So, with that foundation of God's character firmly in place, now we can get to the terms and conditions. What is this new relationship actually going to look like in practice? What are the new rules of engagement? So Moses is told, write these words down. And these aren't just some casual suggestions, They are the literal terms of the renewed agreement. These principles are going to shape everything for the nation from here on out. Their identity, their behavior, their whole way of life. Okay, the first set of rules is all about loyalty, which makes perfect sense, right? The first agreement was broken because of idolatry, that whole golden calf business. So these new terms make it absolutely clear. Exclusive devotion is not optional. The text even uses that powerful phrase, jealous God, which really means a demand for a singular, faithful relationship. It's about making a clean break. Next, the covenant actually starts to shape time itself. The whole calendar gets structured around these sacred feasts and a mandatory day of rest. And look at that second point there. You have to rest on the seventh day, even during planting and harvest. I mean, think about that. Even when the pressure is at its absolute highest, when your livelihood is on the line, the relationship comes first. These aren't just holidays. They're designed to weave worship into the very rhythm of life. The rules then move on to possessions, to what you own. And the principle here is all about what comes first. See the pattern? Firstborn, first fruits. The whole idea is giving the first and the best, not the leftovers. It's a really tangible way of demonstrating that this relationship is the absolute top priority. And then there's this one, this really specific, almost poetic command. At first, it seems kind of random, but it's loaded with meaning. So what's it about? Well, some scholars think it was a direct rejection of a pagan ritual. But there's a deeper way to look at it too, that it's a fundamental statement about compassion. The very thing that gives life, a mother's milk, should never be part of an act of death. It's about respecting the deep, sacred boundaries of life itself. So after all the laws are laid down and the covenant is written, the story ends with one of the most incredible, just awe-inspiring scenes in the whole narrative. The focus shifts from the words on the tablets to the profound, visible effect this whole encounter had on Moses himself. Let this sink in for a minute. 40. Moses was up on that mountain for 40 days and 40 nights with no food and no water. This is so far beyond a normal human experience, it just underscores the supernatural intensity of this meeting. He was literally sustained by being in the presence of the divine. And this is just a brilliant detail. It perfectly illustrates the transformative power of what just happened. When Moses comes back down, he has been physically changed. The skin on his face is radiating light. But, and this is the wildest part, he doesn't even know it. The change is so deep that it's obvious to everyone else before it's obvious to him. The people's reaction is immediate. It's visceral. They're scared. His own brother Aaron and all the Israelites, they're afraid to even get close to him. This glow is this undeniable, powerful, and kind of intimidating sign of where he's been and who he's been with. So Moses has to figure out a way to manage this strange new reality, and he comes up with this system. As you can see, when he's speaking to the people, he puts a veil on to kind of shield them from this overwhelming radiance. But when he turns to speak with God, the veil comes off. It's such a powerful metaphor for his role as the go-between, bridging the gap between the divine and the everyday. And that's where we'll leave it. This story that started with a broken promise ends with a man so transformed by a second chance that he literally glows. So it leaves us with this final question to think about. What kind of encounters, what kind of truths are so powerful that they can actually leave a visible mark on us?